Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly meeting of the OpenStack TC, a monthly video meeting. And this one is right before the epoxy release. That's tomorrow. It's April 2nd. And also just before the OpenStack and Open Infra PTG that's happening next week. So we have some planning to do, perhaps, and some reflection to do on the release during this meeting. There are some new topics and lots of recurring ones. Let's get started. There are a couple of absences that we've noted on the IRC channel, and I will start taking notes on the IRC channel. Please feel free to fill in if I'm doing something, if I'm not mentioning things that you are speaking about. Let's get through the last week's AIs. We had a couple of them. One was the PTG scheduling, and this one is recurring as a topic, but I'll just start with that one because it might be short. So let's grab slots. That would be the thing. We don't have a lot of topics added beyond what we've discussed um, in the past few weeks, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I don't know whether topics will show up in the last minute and we'll have to scramble to find space. Um, but if considering these, I could start putting some slots in there based on who's going to lead them and what the interest is and so on. And some of this might get condensed into the TC and the community leaders forum session that we have that we usually start the week with. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll send an email perhaps with the slots and the timings. We can even discuss on the OpenStack TC channel. But if you have any requests, now's the time. You can tell me, or you can just ping on the channel if you have some specific time or a specific topic that you want to be around for, and you need that at a specific time. We can try and accommodate those. But as you are aware, we did schedule the two big slots. We're meeting on Monday and on Friday, and we're trying to bookend all of the project discussions. There are unfortunately some project discussions that will be overlapping, but we can't avoid everything that happens. But I do hope the cross-project ones will have enough attendance, and projects can move things around to accommodate those cross-project discussions. Any concerns there with that AI? Okay, let's move on to the next AI that we had from last week. It was the Skyline security concerns. I think we took one tangible AI, and most of the rest was a discussion. So that's the AI. So I think Dimitri, you had a run at reproducing the Skyline build. Did you want to share any update from that?
Yo, yeah, I tried to do that, though I got a build with a different names because I think they were like time based or date based or something like that. So it was not really feasible to compare. But yeah, I don't know. Content for most of things looked fair enough in terms of like diff. So it was mostly like renames There were some like minor changes in code, but it also could be related to that. It's like includes of different yeah of other static files basically. And I also, I think I replied, I tried to engage Skyline folks in releases repo where they proposed tagging Skyline console with a new tag. Um, but that's pretty much it, I guess.
With no changes, right? They didn't really respond to any
No, they
question.
did not. No, I just double checked. They did not.
Okay. And I think there is a mailing list thread on a similar note. And after we finished the meeting last week, we were talking through Horizon also having similar issues where many of those JS files that Horizon packages are far outdated. They're quite old, and it's possible they were also added like this at some point with a commit that there is no evidence of like a build that was automated for Horizon as well. So I think Jeremy took the opportunity to summarize what we were trying to say last week, which was that if we are trying to embed and vendor random third-party libraries, at least we would have a consistent way to do that. It would be sourced at the install time and so on, and we would be building it on Zool through Zool through a job that's transparent, visible through and we'd like folks suggested last week also include um, build trackers like the yarn lock file and so on. I'm not sure how to get Skyline folks to respond beyond the questions you asked. I think we still went ahead and had to approve the release. And okay, thank you though. Thanks for the comment. Let me see if I can find some way to get these folks at the TC PTG. As we are aware, they don't really have their own PTG session. They haven't, and it's possible that's because the times don't match for them, and they don't find it feasible to have a PTG during s- you know the way we plan things.
If the time zone is a concern, we can ask them if they prefer to have another time slot in between, for example, European TC members and them to helping them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll start a thread and I'll copy some of you folks. Actually, no, let me post it on the OpenStack discuss list. I'd hate to CC Skyline contributors, but I'm not sure if they're subscribed. Um, and they usually don't respond to emails that are not sent directly to them. So I'll still end up CCing them and I'll send it to the OpenStack discuss list. All right. But the Blazor dashboard, I think the non-minified versions should still be released. I'm not very sure if the release patch is done. It's worth checking. But it's a separate but related concern. No, I don't think there is a released patch.
I mean, at least for Blazor, I know the Blazor cores, so maybe we can ping them.
Yeah, they're
It's
aware.
not like, yeah.
And there we go. This is the patch. This is the patch. This likely needs a re-release. Basically, I don't think we're going to stop the release for this. Blazor dashboard already has a RC1, and that's going to stick. We might just do another release right after once this patch merges. But as of now, this is a work in progress. But if there are any concerns, feel free to take it directly to Gerrit. And it's good that it got flagged by somebody that was testing epoxy packages and so on. I wonder if they package Skyline the same way. We'll see. All right. Anything else on this AI? If not, any other action items that we were tracking? I think after the meeting, I noticed the email with the QA update on Tempest and DevStack and Grenade. Uh, Ghanshyam, do you want to fill us in?
Yeah, that's the stable 2025.1, the new stable and the master setup. So in Tempest and Grenade, obviously the normal settings, we move over testing from the new stable to the master. The one thing to note is, which we discussed previously also in last cycle or something, that the Grenade skip level job, which test n-1 to n, we have to mandatory run that when there is a slurp release, means the current master is slurp. So we are testing from previous slurp to the current master, which is slurp. But for non-slurp release, which is our current master, that is not mandatory, but it's good to run. So by default, I have added that job as a voting job in the integrated template we have. And for example, Noah has always opted to run that always as a voting, even it's non-slurp or slurp, because that is helpful to know if there is any breaking change we are doing in non-slurp and we need attention in the future slurp. But as it's non-slurp and not mandatory, if any project feel it's breaking or something they don't want to run, so they can make it non-voting or they can remove it from the template defined in Tempest. That is only for 4 or 5 projects, but I expect same, like as for example Manila also you can start the same running the skip level job as voting or non-voting, but there should be changes required. So I have done for these template defined in Tempest. Today I'll look into the project who is running Grenade consistently, for example Manila, Heat, Ironic, and if there is any setting change we required. Rest everything is merged, but there is one of the issue happening on stable branches. We were talking in the Noah channel and meeting also. There is test volume update test is failing consistently due to image not found. So in the Ceph job only, Ceph multi-store job. So that is also something we are currently debugging, which is impacting the stables, including the new stable job.
Okay, can we reprise that during the CI topic?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thank you for the update on the grenade stuff. That's a link to the ML post. All right. Anything else on the AIs? If not, let's move on to the next topic. Well, this is just an informational thing. We will not be meeting next week. Um, we typically cancel the PTG week meetings, so I'll send that out as part of the TC summary this week that we will not be having a IRC meeting because we are meeting twice next week in sync. Any concerns with that? All right. Let's move on to the next topic. I can skip it if we do not have anything to add on the PTG. Is there anything that we want to add about the PTG? Any discussions? I know a couple of us are not going to be there during these calls. Any other noted absences that we need to worry about? Does the timing work basically for the group? We're meeting on Meetpad, and it's held up fine for the last few times we've tried this. So I'm hoping there's going to be no issues. And we will be recording, and we'll be posting those recordings on YouTube. So everything should go as usual. We haven't had an issue last time, so I'm hoping this is the same experience this time. So it's 1300 through 1500 on Monday and 1500 through 1700 on Friday. Easy peasy. Has also other slots, of course. We're going to be in other discussions. All right, let's skip through that topic then. Since there's nothing else, let's move on to the gate health one. Sorry, Kansham, could you restate stuff?
Yeah, one failure I was talking is on the stable Noah Ceph job. So test volume is failing. So yes, we didn't find the root cause yet, but still, if you see Noah Ceph multi-store, or I think any Ceph job where the Cinder upload volume test is running, so that might be failing there. Yeah, other than that,
Have you triaged this issue yet, or is this like
not yet. We
actively
are still
broken down?
it's actively broken. I think stable 25.1, 24.2, and .1. And we're still, if you see the Nova channel, still debugging, but we didn't find the root cause yet.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm doing multiple things at the same time. But yeah, basically we have some job issues. Honestly, I think for the moment we don't know yet the problem.
I see. Okay. Let me know if there's something you think it might be on the Ceph side, because it's possible that a new version of Ceph showed up. Let me just quickly verify that.
At least last week, at least last time I checked the periodics, since I'm no longer the PTL, I am not yet no longer looking at the periodics, and last week it was René who did that.
Hmm.
But last time we checked the periodics, I would say all were green.
Hmm.
So I think this is probably a problem since 1 or 2 weeks ish.
Okay, I see.
So it's pretty new.
Yeah. And it's not like 100% failing. So sometime it pass on stable and master it is passing. So it's a little tricky, like where things had changed and stuff. Mostly like Cinder side it is. So let's see if we can include Cinder box.
Okay.
And that's the one thing. Other thing I have not.
No. Sorry,
So,
Gutam. I never said. Sorry, 1 second. I never said this was a periodic. I mean, the job that we're discussing run on Shakes pipeline. What I'm
Okay.
saying is that when last time we looked at the periodics and all stuff, and for the stable branches, we are not seeing any problems. Given well, voilà. Basically, no. Sorry, sorry, my bad. My bad. I should be.
No, feel free to correct me.
Yeah.
So you're saying the
Yeah.
check queue is blocked right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said because in general we look at the stable branch periodic jobs,
Yeah.
and in general we see some problems because of that. But for the yeah. Voilà.
Okay, makes sense.
and Gautam, as you're there, so on the Ceph plugin side, is there any version update recently happened or?
So we're trying to push
Okay,
it to Ceph 8, but
but
right
not
now I think yeah,
not yet merged, right?
no, it's not merged yet. You can see the sample job, and if you think that can help, we can
Yeah, that's
accelerate
what
that.
I was searching. I'll check that later.
Yeah, this is the
Thanks.
one.
Okay.
And I remember we created a depends on to us to a Nova change. Sorry, to in Nova. So you might see a DNM patch, and that was passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on master it pass. It's
Okay,
on the stable only, and
I see.
You know,
it's not
you,
100%. So it's
you
Yeah,
know,
it's
you,
still
strange.
you
running.
know, in general, every time that we have problems with only stable branches, this is because of the libraries and the versions of the libraries. So I'm wondering
Mm.
whether something was fixed on master, basically backported to stable branches, and not using the dependencies I mean, please, Gutam, don't try this, but it's just my thought about that. Anyway,
Okay.
just saying, yeah, basically Sean, Dan, G-Man as well already discussed that on the Nova channel.
Yeah.
for me, this is a bit late, so I prefer the guys to discuss.
Otherwise, you'll have the
You
same
just want to
sad
wake
issue
up and CI is
in your
fixed.
dream. Alvin might be
I
debugging in dream and come up with a fix in morning.
mean, I won't say about I mean, at least downstream, I have so many meetings that in general, I definitely prefer to stop after 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 this meeting.
Yeah, this is the sweet end. All right. Any other CI issues? I think there was one we were chatting on the TC channel, which had a quick resolution, thanks to Clark. Let me just link that. And the theory was that we have new node pool nodes. I mean, thanks to Rackspace Flex, I suppose. And these seem to be quite fast. And so we're, for example, setting up a bunch of services. And with each API service, the Apache service is getting restarted after a setup. And by default, those are limited to 10 restarts, I think, or 5 restarts in 10 seconds or something like that. And so the last restart would just fail. And it was failing at a particular place only because there were 4 restarts before that, or something. And so that was just a small code optimization that prevented that. So it's not a long-term fix, just a band-aid fix for now. We might see this issue again, just that we're running in nice new hardware, um, in a warranted one. Anything else on CI?
I've also spotted today or yesterday a failure also for Heat with member which starts with member group which starts from capital. Um, I think it was like some old behavior which was removed lately, I guess, a couple of days ago, because I said jobs for end of March, like 23rd, 24th of March was succeeding, and they were failing like yesterday, something, but
I see.
this is quite trivial.
Okay. Do you have a link?
Yeah, just a second.
You. Oh, cool. Oh, ouch. Okay. Was the Keystone change recent? Like in the sense it was a Keystone API change recently or something regarding the case
I don't know. I
sensitivity?
wasn't able to like spot, but I haven't invested in enough time to find it, because I mean there is obviously something wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, Artem might be aware because we are, I think, ch making some changes when we're going through JSON schema validation and things like that. So I'm wondering if something in that, throw this off.
I wasn't looking in the error yet. I'll try to have a look.
Okay.
Dima, but recheck helped, right?
No, he actually fixed or he's fixing the name to not be, you know, sentence case.
I can also link.
Case sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something about that actually not in the Keystone, but in OpenStack client. What
Hmm.
actually sort of like combination of changes on different fronts that led to the fact that all of a sudden we started to be case sensitive, while in reality we were even before, but OpenStack client was doing some magic or madness insanity with regard to that, and we got rid of that, which resulted to the fact that basically everything in every single project is case sensitive. So it was like an error before that it was never skipped, it was never noticed.
I guess I have only one question to that. Do we have any release note regarding that?
Um, I'll try to have a look, searching for where exactly it was. I remember some time ago, like 1 month ago or so, we were fixing functional tests of Keystone that started failing in the federation area, basically exactly with pretty much absolutely the same error. And we tracked it down to this change in OSC somewhere. I'll have a look at it now and send you a link to it if I find.
Okay. Uh, yes. We're also pulling OSC from master for these jobs. Could be a difference in the way we're doing things.
I honestly lost track of what is being
What we're
pulled
testing,
where,
like,
and we were always saying that you should be actually always using master or actually the latest release of OSC independent on for which release, which is typically exactly what you want, but not in every particular case. Sometimes you may want explicitly to stick to all that thing.
no. This one in this case is a grenade job, and this is in the upgrade resources section. So it depends on where you're probably running this, right? And so we're going through an upgrade. So you probably had an older version of OSC, and you're upgrading before you finish the upgrade of the cloud itself.
But we don't upgrade OSC version. Say, for example, when heat upgrade is being tested,
Mhm.
right?
So we leave it behind intentionally so that we can run through.
Yeah, and as Artem mentioned, I think in DevStack and whatever tenant setting we have, we do use OSC master
Okay.
for testing things as much as possible because
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, makes sense. If you can find that link, Artem, throw it in, so
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
help
sure.
folks track this. Any other CI news? If not, it's a wrap. Let's move on to the next topic, which is also a recurring topic, the TC tracker. Let's actually look in this because we've left some really old things that we probably don't want to carry forward to 2025.2. For one, I'm not sure of the user survey myself. That is, I need to get back in touch with the foundation staff and see when they're planning to send the user survey out for the 2025 release. I'll take a action item for that. Okay. So we have event-led. I mean, we have a bunch of community goal tracking things. I think the only one we've crossed off is the migration to Noble, which Kancham updated us last week about. Uh, but everything else is still in progress, and those will be carried forward. I'm not 100% sure on the PrivSep migration, if anything is actively being worked on. And I think that's also because, yeah, I think we need to ping the goal champion and figure out what's happening there. I think it'll be thrown up again because of the event-led situation, because Oslo Root Wrap and Oslo PrivSep are both under the Oslo team, and they would have to have a way to migrate off of event-led for these libraries. And they would rather not do the work if nobody is using event-led in the future. Sorry, nobody is using root wrap in the future.
I mean, just to clarify, because again, I'm doing two things at the same time. For the preset migration, I'm looking at the tracker. We do have one owner, but actually, do we have any kind of contributors for it?
Not that I'm aware of. I think a bunch of work happened a few releases ago. We probably have not finished the work and like, all of the projects. I think that's what's left. But it's worth asking the owner to do like another update on what the current situation is and what help is needed.
Yeah, at least what you said about event-led, basically, if I was thinking about the capacity that we have and the priorities. Maybe for Flamingo, it's not that urgent to migrate to PrivSep. The only problem with roadmap is that basically the configuration is bad, then it's a security problem. So maybe you just we just need to make sure that the default configuration for roadmap is good for all the projects. But apart from that, I don't think this is a priority if we don't have a lot of capacity on it. And I would rather prefer contributors to work on event-led, like at least for Nova, it's a priority. Of course, for PrivSep, we already use PrivSep. The only problem with Rootwrap is about the clients that we use that continue to use Rootwrap. So that's why we continue to use roadtrap in Nova, as far as I remember. Just because of the clients, Cinder clients, as far as I can say, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is not OS Viv, but like OS for Cinder, OS something. Can't remember the name of the library. But voilà. Anyway, definitely Windows removal seems to me like a priority.
Okay, makes sense. So let's take an AI action to and the other one is in a similar state as FIPS. I have not seen a lot of updates with this. I don't know if anybody else has any updates with this. Actually says we would try to get everything done by B, which
Yeah,
is a while ago.
yeah. I was looking at completion criteria. As
Yeah,
far as I know, we are on multiple fifth jobs.
yeah,
So maybe we're in between milestone 1 and milestone 2. If I remember the mailing list for FIPS, but for Paramico, I actually wonder.
yeah.
I never seen like a change in Nova for no longer
Yeah, to
using
replace
Paramico.
Paramico or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rickler has a good question, like still active trust or not, because we have been blocked on these PIPS testing on the distros where CentOS Steam is not
Yeah.
stable and Ubuntu has, some paid subscription
Yeah,
enable. We thought of like trying Rocky, but there is no activity on that effort also. So, and I have not seen Adley being more active where he was before 1 or 2 years.
yeah.
So it's good to check whether there's still interest of continuing that effort or not.
Maybe, I mean, that's my question. That's the thought I have. Maybe these throws are done, but
No, it was, yeah, that's what I think we hit that blocker with Paramico and then we stopped. I don't know whether there is the testing blocker. I think we got around it by making all the jobs use CentOS Stream. We got some buy-in, I think, from Ubuntu Canonical to have a developer-friendly, FIPS compliance and enabling feature in Ubuntu Noble, if I recall right. But I don't think we followed up on that because Noble landed recently and all the CI jobs updated recently. But
yeah,
we can seek an update from Adele.
yeah, that's my point. Know that we have Noble I would say by default in our jobs.
Yeah,
That will make the thing maybe simpler because uh, before before epoxy, given Ubuntu Noble uh, was not used, we are still using 2022, Ubuntu 22.4. Well, this was difficult. So now that we have a newer Ubuntu LTS version, maybe that could help. But I don't know. I have
Agreed.
I had like the same problem with some other kernel library. I try to create like a new job usage for MTTY because of 22.4, but now that we have Ubuntu Noble, this makes my life so simpler because everything is now supported. I don't need to modify the kernel.
Okay, awesome. Or not. We'll follow up on both those things. There are a few others. I think the unmaintained branch cleanup has had quite a lot of progress in this cycle. Specifically, I think that push was totally warranted. And we had AI 18 and SIG efforts thing that was assigned to you, Sylvain. Was there anything to be updated?
To be honest, no. I never actually discussed. I never discussed. Let me see. Yeah. I mean, actually, that's a good point. I could discuss with Yan again and Songshu. Because maybe they had time to do something. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I will try to. I know. Because I actually next week it will be difficult because of you know what, PTG. But let's try to continue track that effort because I don't know if Yan and Sangshu
Yeah.
found some ways to discuss. We said 6 months before that we could be discussing that at the Nova PTG. So we started to discuss that, but after the PTG meeting that we had, we never had other meetings. So by the next 6 months, I can say whether Seungshu tried to POC something. At least when we discussed, we found some possible solutions. But voilà. I don't know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Whether he had time to provide POC. I think he found some possibilities, and I explained him exactly what we have on the Nova documentations. So that was helping him. So basically, he was starting to look at that, and it was 6 months before. After, I mean, no, it's probably a good time to ask him again where we are.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. I'll add this one as pending so we can follow up on that.
Yeah, I actually don't. I can try to take an action item on that one to ping Yan and Changshu.
Yeah.
I don't know. For Yan, I know he's around on IRC. For Changshu, this is a bit more difficult. But yeah, I can try to get some to get some update. Maybe after the PTG, but we'll see.
Yeah. On a parallel update on that stuff is the infrastructure stuff. In the Weblate paid contract was renewed apparently. That's what uh, Jeremy is stating, and we're also looking at yeah. Okay, so if the Zenata infra continues to be a problem, we might have to worry about it. It's worth getting an update on all of these. Thanks for checking,
Uh,
Sylvain.
yeah, at least at least for the Noah project, we got a Zanata change just after RC1, but we got it.
You mean
So
the translation
yeah,
update?
translation update.
Oh, I think those are still coming, but
Yeah,
I think part of it is, I mean, they're not able to onboard new translators. They're not able to make
yeah.
major changes and things.
That was their main. So that's why they were wanting to use AI for automatically translating a few things, and that was what we discussed. Yeah.
All right. Okay. We're 4 minutes in. I'll stop the tracker discussion here so that we can reconnect later on this. But let's quickly switch to open discussion so we can have something added to the minutes if we wanted to. I think one thing that was relevant to the Postgres stuff that was next in the tracker was something on the mailing list. I think somebody had a problem running Nova Managed DB sync, and I mean, the log indicates that it was they're using Postgres, and it might be something that was not being tested. And Dan's linked them to TC resolution. And this was something that we were wondering ourselves, you know, how much Postgres usage is there in the wild? Not, that we're not really testing this with community infrastructure.
But there are in reality public clouds still, well, not still deliberately using Postgres.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, Postgres is, I mean, that's since I will say that since I started working on OpenStack, we never, I mean, nothing really changed, right? We know that indeed some people prefer to use Postgres for their usage, but we notified, I can count the number of times that we notified that basically we don't test Postgres in our jobs. So because basically we don't test it for multiple reasons. That means that you can't find problems. So I mean, that's not really new. It's
yeah.
like if I mean, Nova supporting Postgres is, I would say, like a large feature request. So that, I mean, if that was simple, we would just be running a job with Postgres, but we actually never did that. So
No. I think whatever you're saying, we've restated it already, saying we need help, and if somebody is running Postgres in the wild, like Artem's saying, deliberately, They probably are facing issues, but are filing bugs and getting it fixed and such in different contexts. Somebody could probably come and help us with running those jobs and testing it in the community. That's the only way this would continue to be supported. Right now, we don't support it, is what we've clarified in the TC resolution as well in 2017. So the team doesn't have to worry about it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. So we're at the hour. Thank you all for joining. Let's wrap up now. I'll end the recording here and then wrap it up on IRC. Like I said, next week we're not going to have a meeting, but we're going to be catching up in sync on Monday and Friday, and hopefully everywhere else on the rest of the days. That's outside of the TC rooms. Yep. Thank you all for joining today. See you next week.
Yeah, thanks. See you.
See you. Bye.